are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to a special Behind the Geeks episode for the Apple TV Plus original series, Foundation. My name is Nate, and if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast celebrating the world of movies, TV shows, games, and all things Geekcentric. Today, I'm so happy to be joined yet again by the cast of the Apple TV Plus original series, Foundation, which has its third season premiering tomorrow, July 11th, which, I mean, if you're not already watching Foundation, what are you doing? I'm telling you, this as a fan of science fiction and beautiful, sprawling narratives, this show is absolutely incredible. The visuals are unreal. The world is gorgeously adapted from Isaac Asimov's original stories, and at the heart of it, it's a story about humanity. In my conversation from last year with show's creator David S. Goyer, he said he wanted to create a show that works even if you strip away all the science fiction elements, and it really does. But then there's awesome planets and creatures and technology all layered on top. And also, the cast is absolutely phenomenal. The performances are so good in this show. And we are joined by a few members of the cast on today's episode. I had the opportunity to chat yet again with Cassian Bilton, who plays Dawn on the show, but this time we were joined by Terrence Mann, who plays Dusk. And Dawn and Dusk are two of three clones, or as Terrence puts it in this interview, a triumvirate. And they're kind of at opposite ends of the Cleon's life cycle. There's Dawn, Day, and Dusk, and so getting to chat with both of them, it was great to hear how they've learned from each other, and you know, sort of their different perspectives on the characters. And then I also got to speak with Llobell, who plays Gail Dornick on the show. She's kind of one of the main central figures in the series that we're following, and we talk about her evolution over the past 3 seasons with this character. Also on today's show is Jared Harris, who is a prolific actor who you've probably seen in a number of different films and television programs, but he plays Dr. Harry Seldon, and we talk about, this was kind of fun, we talk about which Marvel character his character is like. Shout out to Coy Jandreau over with the Real Rejects group, because he was able to kind of tease something up for me. So that's a fun moment in this interview. And then lastly, I spoke with Pilou Asbæk, who plays a new character this season. He's in the last season, but he's really focused on this season. He plays the Mule, who is this mind-controlling and emotion-controlling space pirate who really takes on his role as this element of chaos amongst Harry Seldon's plans. So again, this show is so good, and it seems to be getting better each season. I thought that season 2 was better than season 1, and I think season 3 might be better than season 2. Huge shout out and huge thanks to our friends at Apple for setting us up with these opportunities to talk to this lovely and very talented, incredible group of people. Again, Foundation season 3 premieres tomorrow, July 11th on Apple TV Plus. If you haven't caught up yet, just do it. Enjoy those first 2 seasons so that you can get to the first episode of season 3, which honestly might be one of my favorite first 10 minutes of a series in a very long time. It's absolutely such a fantastic introduction. If you want to see this interview and my face as I smile away and talk to these lovely people, you can do so over on YouTube at youtube.com/geekcentric. Go check us out there and subscribe. You can also catch us on our socials at GeekcentricYT on Twitter, or We Are Geekcentric on Instagram and TikTok, where you can also stay up to date with us in the moment, as well as what we're getting up to. We've got some social clips from these interviews that are a lot of fun, as well as some clips from our most recent red carpet with the director of Heads of State, Ilya Naishuller. Justin spoke to him on the carpet, but also in a one-on-one interview, they talked about his filmography, what franchise he'd like to work in next, what geeky franchise. But Justin also spoke to a legend, specifically a WWE legend and stand-up individual, the immensely talented and incredibly kind-hearted John Cena. So check out those socials. You can catch those moments. Justin asks him about his time in wrestling and how it's informed his time in Hollywood. And his response is just so lovely. We've got a ton more happening in July as the Hot Geek Summer gets even hotter, with coverage for Superman and, of course, Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps. So if you haven't already, be sure to follow us on all the things, subscribe on all the things. Again, we are so stoked to have you joining us along the way. We are Geekcentric, and you can be too. But with all that said, please enjoy our interviews with the cast of Foundation, starting with our chat with Jared Harris. Hey, Jared, my name's Nate. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me on the Geekcentric podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Nate. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you, man. You're so excellent in this show, so I'm excited to talk to you about the character.
Thank you.
You know, we're the Geekcentric podcast, and I heard you mention to Koi Jean-Drew that you're a big fan of Marvel's Deathlock.
Yeah, God, good reference.
Yeah. And in this series, you play a man brought back to life through technology in a different way.
Right.
And like Deathlock, there's this sort of inner conflict of humanity versus machine.
Yeah.
Are there characters like Deathlock that have maybe influenced how you approached or understood Harrington
It
Selden?
never occurred to me that there was this connection, but now that you mentioned it, I love it in a completely new way. But yes, it's someone who has this deeply ambivalent relationship to the technology that's keeping him alive, and he's in conflict with it. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good analogy. Yeah.
And I noticed the parallels as soon as I saw that interview, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. Now, since the series isn't shot in chronological order, episode to episode, how do you get in that like headspace to play multiple versions of Harry Seldon at different points in his journey?
I don't know if there was ever a day, I'm trying to remember, where I did both. I don't know if that happened this season. I don't think so, because one of the versions took such an extensive makeup job.
Right.
But it might have happened last season. But, you know, that's part of your preparation and your thought process and coming into it. And, you know, there's normally days in between. You know, you're not shooting every single day. You kind of shoot for sort of spurts for a couple of days, and then you might have 3 days off, and then you shoot for 5 days. You might have 1 day off, and then you shoot for 2 days, and then you've got 2 weeks off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there's plenty of time. Once you've got your mind around the whole story, then you sort of look ahead to where you examine the shooting schedule quite forensically to try and get an idea of where the mountains are in terms of huge scenes, and give yourself enough of a runway that you know in your mind, okay, that one's 2 weeks away, but I need to start getting my head around it so I'm ready for that when it comes, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, this is such a huge story and character to wrap your mind around. So I'm sure it can be quite a bit. But, you know, I wanted to mention, I think this is maybe one of the most beautiful sci-fi shows I've ever watched. And a big part of that are the incredible locations it's filmed in. But as a bit of a flip on that, a bit of a thought experiment, if you, as Jared Harris, could visit anywhere in the world of Foundation to go on vacation, where would you want to go?
Wow.
And would you want to go?
Go on vacation, wow. I mean, I've already been there because I was on the show.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to go to Trantor. I don't think I'd enjoy that. Ignis scares me to have people in your head the whole time. There's the playground planet sounds like Vegas, so I've already been there.
Yeah.
The water planet That sounds interesting. But
Synax.
Synax sounds interesting, although that sort of fundamentalist religious aspect to it is a complete no-no for me.
Sure.
I think I might like to go into like a bathy sub to Synax and sort of spend some time, maybe underwater in an underwater hotel, watching all these strange creatures swimming past. I might enjoy that.
See what's under the water
Yeah.
for sure. You once said in an interview that you enjoy playing characters who are outsiders trying to make sense of a world that doesn't listen, and that is Selden to a T. So do you see that parallel, and does it come from somewhere personal?
Ooh. Well, I am a middle child.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of not too dissimilar to Crozier in The Terror or Legasov in Chernobyl. These are Cassandra characters from the Trojan myth. The people who have perceived the future and the dangers inherent in that they're trying to warn people of, and they're being ignored. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I could see how being a middle child you might be able to pull some stuff from that for sure.
I was joking, but
no,
take from it what you will.
Yeah,
I don't know
sure.
what your experience is like in life, but if it resonates, I'm glad.
I'm an only child, so everyone listens to me. I'm like the mule in that way. But
really, they all love you because they have
they
no
all
choice.
Love me. That's it. Yes, they do have a choice, though. Listen, Jared, thank you so much for taking the time to answer some of my silly questions and talking about the parallels of Deathlock and Harriton Selden. You are so excellent in this show, and you're kind of like the foundation of this show in a way. And so I very much look forward to seeing where Dr. Selden takes us next. So thank you.
Bless you.
Next up, please enjoy this conversation with Pilou Asbæk. Hey, Pilou, my name's Nate. Thank you so much for joining me on the Geekcentric podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Are we doing podcasts right now?
It's a podcast. We're on a podcast.
I love that. I always wanted to do a podcast.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I have to tell you, and listen, I promise I'm not under the mule's influence when I say this, but you are staggeringly excellent in this show, dude.
Oh, thank you, Nate. I love you and your podcast already. This is going to be a great conversation.
It's a great podcast.
Yeah.
Listen, the mule is so terrifying, but he's also got so much confidence, like any good pirate. How much fun is it to sort of play this character that is so full of swagger, but equally terrifying at the same time?
I love it. I got to do a little bit of it on Game of Thrones, and I got a lot more served when we were doing Foundation. And it's always wonderful to do a character that's it's tricky, and wonderful. It's tricky because you're fighting people's imagination. You know, people who read the books, Asimov's books. And they have a very clear idea how the mule is. Now, your interpretation of the mule is a collaboration between the showrunner, the writers, your fellow cast members, the costume department, the makeup department, and you yourself as an actor. So you need to find something where you can all relate and identify the character so I can portray him. And I've done villains for like 10 years now. And there's just so much meat on the mule bone that it was a fun, brutal, interesting ride. I truly loved it. I think it transcends through the screen when you're watching the character.
100%. And speaking of some of those influences and collaborating and sort of crafting the character from you, first of all, when you were cast, I absolutely knew you would rock this role because you played a pirate of the Iron Sea as Euron Greyjoy.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Please.
I'll tell you a fun story. So when I got offered the job, often I have to do auditions. I always do auditions. That's how America is. You do auditions, they see your interpretation, and then if they like it, you get the role. If they don't, they go move on. So David calls me and he says, "Hey, Pilou, it's wonderful meeting you. I just saw you on Game of Thrones. I loved it. I have a villain for you." And I went like, "Oh God, I can't do any more villains. I'm just sick and tired of villains. It's the only thing I do in international. I call it international projects. I do very different work back home in Denmark." And he's like, No. This is different. You were a pirate. like a sea pirate on Game of Thrones. This is completely different. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm intrigued. Yes, he's such a layered, such a demon. He's such a, oh, it's so different. You read the scripts. Please read the scripts. I'm like, okay, David, you got me hooked. Send me the scripts and I'll read it. So I got the scripts. I turned the first page and it says, Space Pirate. And I'm like, you got, fuck you. And then I called him and I said, okay, David, you kind of tricked me into doing this, or you tricked me into reading the scripts. If we can just make him even more dimensional, and I get the screen time, and I get the background story, and I get all these nuances, I'm totally on board. But please let him not be a space pirate. And he's like, okay. And then I show up, and I'm a space pirate.
You're a space pirate. But you, listen.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, still shame on me.
But you rock it, and like any good sort of adaptation, you look to inspirations. And I read that with Euron Greyjoy that I think at one point you said you based him partly on Keith Richards. Are there any other rock stars you had in mind when coming up with the mule?
That was for sure Keith Richards. I wanted to do a guy who's survived 60 years of rock and roll. That's like Euron Greyjoy surviving 60 years at sea. Doing weird stuff like cutting out their tongue, etc., the crew's tongues. No, for this one, it went a completely different approach. I read the book about the mule. I think he's an iconic villain. He's right up there next to Voldemort, if you ask me. No comparison. I'm not comparing performances. I would never do that to Royal Fiennes. He's phenomenal in the Potter series. But my inspiration for the mule is a French book called Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince, by Saint-Exupéry. And that's the reason why I'm wearing a red cape. I wanted, the book about The Little Prince is about a guy who's on a little planet with a rose as his best friend in a little glass ball, trying to go to Earth because he wants to understand humanity. He wants to understand what is the world, what is Earth, what is love, what is friendship, what is it to be alive. And honestly, those are the things that the mule needs to learn through season 3. That how is it and how does it feel to be loved?
Yeah. No, I completely see that and feel that, especially in some of the flashback moments. Listen, congratulations. This has been your first podcast, maybe. I don't know.
Internationally. I've done a few back home in Denmark.
There we go. Excellent. Well, listen, Pilou, thank you again so much for taking the time to chat with me. I'm loving this agent of chaos that you're bringing to the show, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And now, our interview with the lovely Lou Llobell. Hey, Lou, my name's Nate. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me on the Geekcentric podcast. How are you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm getting to talk to all the lovely folks at Foundation, so I'm having a great time.
Good.
I have to start off by saying you're excellent in this show, and you have been for the past 2 seasons, and it's been great to see Gale evolve as a character into this very formidable force, this leader. What's it been like for you to explore that more confident side of her this season?
Oh, it's been so amazing, and I just feel like she's finally becoming who she was always supposed to be. And she's like finding her footing, and she's becoming an adult. She's maturing, and it's just so lovely because I feel like I feel the same as her, you know. And it's just nice to see her as a fully fledged human adult person.
Yeah. It's been nice as someone from the outside looking in. It almost feels like watching your careers. It's kind of growing alongside hers in real time.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's cute. Yeah.
Lovely. You certainly get to kick even more ass this season, and we see Gale tapping into her mentalic abilities in some really striking new ways. From a performance standpoint, what excited you most about exploring those powers this time around?
I mean, it's really interesting because it's obviously a skill that she's learned and really worked on in order that has come obviously from Tellum teaching her, which is an interesting dynamic because obviously Tellum was last season's villain. But it's exciting to see her in that new space and using those powers for good and finding ways to get ahead in that way. And the contrast between the way she uses it compared to the way the mule uses his powers, I think, is really interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely a few moments where, let's just say, without spoiling, the characters get got in the show, and then I was getting got at the same time.
No, I know,
Yeah.
for real. No, it's honestly so much happens. There's so much action, so many amazing twists and turns this season, and I think it's really exciting because we haven't had it as fast paced as this one just yet. It kind of like everything's turned up a notch or 10 notches. And it's just really exciting. Every single minute is really exciting.
100%. I'm enjoying the pace for sure this season. This season, Gail shares scenes with Preem Palver, played by one of my favorite actors, the Oscar-winning Troy Kotsur.
Yeah.
What was that like working with him as a scene partner, and how did using sign language inform your approach to those moments?
I mean, he's one of my favorite actors too. He's amazing. Yeah. It's such a different thing working in sign and acting in sign. Things are a little bit more straightforward. There's rules you have to kind of follow in terms of, what shots you can do and you can't do, because everything you have to be able to see hands and also have subtitles in shot. So it's a lot more streamlined and we get to really just act. And it's a lot more expressive too, sign. And yeah, just such a great thing to be able to do both. And he was just so easy and patient with me. When I messed up sometimes, he'd really be supportive and I was like, no, you got it. And he really, it just was really special.
That's awesome. Yeah, my friend Jane is part of the deaf community, and I wanted to shout her out because she the letter N, Nate, she took that and she asked me what my favorite food was, and I told her it was bacon. So she did the sign for bacon as my nickname.
So I love that.
It's fantastic, and it's wonderful to see that representation on screen.
I think so. I think it's so important because if we're representing what the world would be like that many years into the future, then we have to really cover all bases. So yeah, I think it was really important. David Goyer made a really great decision there. And I mean, hopefully it's going to be even more and more inclusive if we get a chance to continue on. So yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely. I love how much it looks like you love to travel, according to your Instagram. I'm seeing you all over the place.
I know. Listen, it's when I don't work and it's summertime. I take every chance I get to move around and be on the beach.
I hear you. And as a bit of a thought experiment, I wanted to kind of ask you, if you could travel anywhere within the world of Foundation, where would you want to vacation?
I mean, bar the mules taking over of that planet, Calgon, because that's my situation. And they filmed that Torin and Beta scene in Barcelona. So not that I'm Spanish. So I mean, I was like, that's my kind of planet. That or Synax. I think Synax would be actually amazing to go and visit.
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard you say that once that you love swimming.
I do. So. No, I love the sea. I love the ocean. It's where I feel most comfortable. Yeah. And there's actually apparently a town that's on stilts. There's houses on stilts in a lake in I think Switzerland or Germany, somewhere around there. So I should probably make that trip at some point.
I'm looking forward to seeing all the Instagram posts from there as well. You've been so lovely, and thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. Again, you are brilliant, and I cannot wait to see where your character goes next.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And lastly, our conversation with Cassian Bilton and Terrence Mann. Greetings, Empire. My name's Nate. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining me on the Geekcentric podcast. How are you both doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Thanks. How are you?
Good. I get to talk to all you lovely folks again, good. So it's fantastic.
Are you respecting and enjoying the piece?
Absolutely,
good.
Always.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
Cassian, last time we spoke, I had asked you what advice Terrence and Lee may have had, maybe shared with you in playing one man split across 3 clones. So I kind of want to flip that now that we've got Terrence with us. Terrence, for you, is there anything that Cassian has taught you in your time together as Cleons?
Definitely not.
Absolutely. I try to not do anything that he does. I think this is like the word. No, to be honest with you, and I think I said this to somebody else in an interview. This gentleman over here came in fully formed, and somebody you could learn from. You know, there are smart people in the room, and then there are smart people in the room who can really tell you what's going on. And that was good for me because I was confused most of the time. And I would go, Cass, what's happening here? And then he would break it down for me. You know, and this was his first gig out of the box. I mean, it's like being thrown into the Super Bowl, you know, and you've only ever played, you know, sandlot football before. So it was so special. And, you know, and also he's a nice person. So I was very fortunate to look at him and to look at Lee. Part of the sort of learning what this triumvirate was to be able to mimic one another, to be able to find idiosyncrasies that we would have a commonality with, you know, and we talked about that a lot. So we were sharing a lot of each other with us.
Yeah, there's there's a really lovely scene, maybe one of my favorite scenes involving the Cleons, where the three of you get to share a drink together. Yeah, and it's maybe the happiest. It's the happiest I've ever seen the Cleons. So, you know, Cassian, for yourself, one of my favorite things about your characters is that they do get to be so different each time, even though they are the same clone. How has the dynamic shifted between the last Dawn you played and this new Dawn on the cusp of becoming Day?
I think it's a huge shift. I mean, I think from the moment you see him in season 3, that's not the same person that you left. I think that there's a vulnerability to Dawn which sort of makes him sweet, but also makes him very fragile in those early seasons, season 1, season 2. And I think watching Lee and Terry work, there was always a part of me that was sort of like sitting on the sidelines, waiting to take on the position of power and to turn into Day and take that middle throne. And I think I made a decision very early on when I saw these scripts, was that, okay, I'm going to have to like put on weight, be very definitive about my choices in this show, and really chase that feeling of someone that could conceivably turn into Day. Because I think looking back at season 1, season 2, I don't know to what extent those dawns would have been successful days, but when you come into season 3, everything is going so wrong across the galaxy that I have no choice but to meet the moment. And Dusk very kindly says later on in the season that the Dawn that I am is the best of us. And I think I saw that line in the script and I ran with that from the moment we open on Dawn this season, of trying to be this kind of bulletproof Klingon, the one that's hopefully going to save the Empire from falling apart.
I love that. I love that. And I love really seeing the three of you still rocking the Cleon pajamas every now and then.
I love that. Right there.
Now, Terrence, last season I asked Cassian what he would take away from, at the time, the very hopeful Dawn that he played. And I know, you know, Dusk, especially this season, isn't necessarily a character anyone should aspire to be like. But as an actor, you always have to put yourself in, you know, into the motivations of a character, regardless of their morality. So for yourself, is there anything that you would take away as a life lesson from Dusk?
This season?
Or I mean, just the character in general in your time playing.
I think, and yeah, because I'm not as old as Dusk, but I'm approaching it, and I think the thing that I do take away from being Dusk is every moment is precious, so you have to make each moment as precious and as relatable to the ones you love around you, so that you can, you know, that so that you can feel like you're always a part of them.
Yeah,
and don't work with ferrets.
And don't work with ferrets.
I will. Yes.
Yeah, that was hard. That was hard, man.
Oh my gosh. Now, lastly, the locations in this show, that everything, it's all shot in such beautiful places. So just as my last question, I want to give you both a thought experiment here. You know, I Cassian, last time we talked, you said Dawn might be kind of lonely, cooped up in that palace with two other versions of him and a robot. So for both of you, not as your characters, but as you, where would you want to go to vacation in the world of Foundation?
Oh, in the world of Foundation.
In the world of Foundation. Wow. Well,
what about the spiral? That seems hot.
That seems hot.
You know, where Halima is. You get a nice tan on the spiral. Lee looks very tan when he walks that spiral.
Yeah.
That was hot. That was
not that nice anymore.
I liked it where we shot the where we were in Spain shooting. That would be where Lee and I were.
Oh, yeah.
And we kind of break down what's going to happen. I forget what's happening, but that was beautiful. That was like luxurious and it was all stone and
Lee's cottage.
Lee's cottage. That one,
Yeah.
Lee's cottage. Days cottage. That was
That's super nice. Or maybe Synnax actually, just because you can swim around. It's all underwater, but
Go for a nice swim.
Why not?
Absolutely. Yeah, Lee looking even more like Jesus this season.
Oh, dear.
And like
Yeah.
Lee.
has the fruit and
Oh
Yeah,
God,
he's
yeah.
having a great time. We were very jealous the whole time we were filming.
were.
Lee's having
Yeah.
a lovely time.
Jesus.
well, I love that. Both of you, thank you so much again for taking the time to chat with me and
Thanks,
answer
man.
some of
Thank
these
you.
silly questions.
Yeah.
Both of you are just so excellent in this show, and
you.
I can't wait to see what the future holds for your characters.
That means a lot. Thanks very much.
Thank
man.
you very much. It was a pleasure.
Have a nice day.
Cheers. You too.